Hello, and welcome to another Vacation from Your Vacation episode of We Only Look Thin. I am Katherine Weigel. I'm one of your hosts. I am a Tiny Habits certified coach, a Thrive Global certified coach. I have lost over 100 pounds and have kept it off now for over 6 years.
Impressive.
And with me today is...
Donald Weigel. And I was going to make this exact same I need a vacation from my vacation.
I even wrote it down.
Yeah.
I wrote it down.
Oh, I need a vacation from my vacation.
And then afterward, I wrote LOL. I literally
wrote LOL on your notes.
LOL.
So that the listeners will know that they're supposed to laugh at that. Hi, I am also one of your hosts. I didn't actually say that. This is Donald Weigel, and I've lost about 100 pounds. I've kept it off for about 5.5 years. Since you're saying
5 and 3/4.
Yeah,
no, but
you're saying 6 years. So now it sounds like I'm like way behind you.
No, but June of 2017 is sort of when I started on my journ-venture.
Yeah, I don't think I hit my goal weight till like the tail end of 2017.
Yeah, do you know that we didn't even come up with journ-venture until we started podcasting?
Yeah.
Until then, Donald was on an adventure and I was on a journey.
Yeah.
And then they came together like peanut butter and chocolate.
I don't know. I mean, like, no offense to anybody, but like fitness journey sounds just a little like hippie woo-woo for me.
We love hippie things.
Look, if you love hippie things, then more power to you. Like, you know, if you're taking long walks in your Birkenstocks,
oh my gosh, you're terrible.
Your sandalwood, then
oh my gosh,
then you go for it.
We can't share everything about ourselves, Donald. You're going to seem ungenerous.
I've just alienated half the audience, probably
of the people. So he's on an adventure like a hobbit.
Yes, an adventure.
And I was on a journey because I can't stop believing in myself. No, I don't know. I don't even like journey.
Oh my god.
I don't know. A lot of the weight lossy things sound kind of cheesy. Like it's just like, it's fine. Like,
yeah, I know. I've tried to, some of it I've tried to embrace because it really does, you know, mindset wise make a difference to think positively and to rename things. And I didn't used to think that was true, but I do believe it now.
Well, I would like to thank you, our dear listeners, for embracing the journ-venture. We appreciate all emails that actually include, hey, I'm in my journ-venture. So thank you for humoring us and our inability to just speak like normal
did we
adults.
Actually say that? So we started saying journ-venture to make each other happy. It was like a compromise.
Does anyone know when it first started? Because I feel like you started it on an episode and
early, I think.
Early on. So speaking of things and the ends of things and vacations and stuff like that.
Yeah.
We are going to today continue our conversation about vacations.
We certainly are. And we did an episode recently called Snacks on a Plane. that was essentially
LOL.
Yeah, that was essentially about preparing for your vacation and trying to harness the proper mindset for going into it and making policies ahead of time.
Yeah.
And this episode is more about how you deal with coming out of the other side.
Yes, the end of the vacation.
Yeah.
The fun part. Nobody wants to talk about the end of a vacation. Like,
no, they don't.
Oh, have a great time, but remember when you get back, you have a report to do at work. So that's fun.
Yeah, I almost... This is you know, a weird insight into me. I almost prefer looking forward to the vacation than the actual vacation.
Yeah, the longer
it's
I
really
have,
weird.
I totally agree.
Like looking forward to it, like it's the same thing with Christmas. Like I enjoy looking forward to Christmas more than actual Christmas Day. Like the Christmas season is fun for me. Like thinking about it.
But we also don't want the vacation itself to be canceled. We don't want
we don't want it to be
Hey,
canceled.
guess
and we don't
what?
want it to be over.
We're going to Belize. Oh, but we're not actually. I know you were really excited about it for a while, but you're not actually going. But you like the thinking about it part.
Yeah.
So, but now we're going to think about the end of the vacation, which again No LOLs for that.
Yeah.
Usually it's tough to transition, isn't it, Donald?
For a lot of times, yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about that fun topic today. The vacation is over, and it's time to get back to reality, man.
Yeah, man.
So
we're saying man now.
Man, I don't know.
We're saying journ-venture and man.
Yeah.
Now. Okay.
I've said man before.
Okay.
But Donald, did you know that the most dangerous part of a flight is takeoff and landing?
What?
Or are takeoff and do you know that the most dangerous part are? No.
Parts of, yes. Takeoff and landing are the most dangerous.
They're the most dangerous. Thank you for wordsmithing that.
Thank you for pointing that out to me so that I can be more nervous about flying.
Yeah. So we're going to be talking about the landing gear. How do you get back on track once you get home? I know we talked about this on Snacks on a Plane.
Snacks on a Plane.
Oh, boy. We talked about it, but we're going to talk about it more because it's been a couple weeks. And we all need to be reminded of things because even we forget what advice we give ourselves.
Yeah,
so.
I oftentimes will look at listen to an old episode or look at, notes I've written for an old episode and be like, that was some really good advice that I wrote down. I should remember that. Yeah,
and so here we are reminding you and us again. So when we go on vacation. This is going to go. It's fine. I'll figure it out when I get home. But we sort of expect ourselves to go back to the perfect pre-vacation version of ourselves. We think that we're going to be back at the deficit. We're going to go back to the gym. Everything's going to be fine. But a lot of times it's really difficult to pull out of that vacation mode.
Yeah, it's not like you have an on-off switch for yourself, so that you're in vacation mode and then you can flip an internal switch and be your best, health-centric driven self immediately.
Right. And sometimes we think, well, if I'm gone on vacation. I've gotten all of that out of my system. I've gone out to eat. I've had beverages. I've eaten in a way that I usually don't. I've got it out of my system.
Yeah, we've talked about before that thing, when growing up in the 70s, parents used to talk about how they would get their kids to not ever want to smoke by locking them in a closet with a carton of cigarettes and not let them out until they smoke. Because baby boomer parents are the best.
That didn't happen to me, but
no, they didn't actually do it to me. But that was a thing people talked about doing.
System.
Get it out of their system.
Yeah, no,
they'll never want to smoke again. Meanwhile, you had all these kids that were just brutally addicted to nicotine after being locked in closets.
This is a grim. It's a Flowers in the Attic episode.
But I think that my point was that I think that we have this notion sometimes that if we just let ourselves go and just eat all the food, that we'll get it out of our system. That would we'll get our fill and we won't want to keep doing it.
Right. I'll be so sick of eating delicious food and relaxing and not working that I'll want to get
that hasn't happened to me yet.
No. So you might be asking yourself, what will get in my way then? I don't understand. Why can't I just go back to normal when I get home?
Yeah.
Even at my brain aside, what happens? So,
I like when you put your brain aside. Yeah.
I know. So, I'm going to say it. Sometimes we really do need a vacation from our vacation. I'll say there's a reason that people say that.
I need a vacation from my vacation.
Travel is exhausting.
Yeah, it's true.
You might have jet lag, laundry to do, the cupboards are empty, there's unpacking, and life does not stop moving forward just because you were on vacation. You still have mail and email and work that no one else was doing while you were gone.
Yeah, and just because I'm not ready to go from vacation mode back to work mode doesn't mean the world doesn't need me to.
Oh my gosh. Well, I can't tell you how many times I would be like, ooh, I'm going on vacation. I have someone covering for me. And then they'll go well, that's not urgent. You can just get to it when you get back.
Right.
I'm that is not helpful for me if I just have a giant pile of work to do. But that's kind of what happened for 20 years.
Yeah. And people who didn't just go on vacation, when you come back and they've all been there working.
Yeah, they don't.
They're, there's no sympathy. They expect you to jump right, full 100% back into work mode.
Exactly. So you might bring back your souvenirs. Maybe you bring back some snacks for the office, a trinket, but you might also bring back added weight. and then wishing you were just always on vacation and not a responsible adult who had to do things.
And those people might also be your family also, who expect you to step up and be mom or dad and like jump right into the, the 100% duties you were doing all the time before.
Exactly. So, there's friction. We're saying it, everybody. Everyone's afraid of saying why you need a vacation from your vacation, but we're giving it to you.
That's right.
We are giving words to your
podcast
feelings.
That's not afraid to tell you why you need it.
So again, when you get back, you feel like you should, that big should word, you should be, your perfect self upon return. But you also realize that you're discombobulated when you get back.
Whoa, language. This is a family show.
I know. I think we're also sometimes disappointed in ourselves for not snapping back perfectly into old habits.
Yeah,
so we feel a little bit of shame. And then also, we just want to hold on to that vacation feeling a little longer.
Yeah. And I've fallen into that trap a lot of times where I come back and I'm like, oh, I just need to keep eating the food that I ate on the vacation. And then I'll still hold on to that feeling, where, maybe a better idea is looking at photographs from the trip.
No, but like we went to Louisiana for a wedding and we basically just ate the whole city.
We ate the entire city of New Orleans.
Yeah.
Like our goal, the wedding was just sort of a side excuse to go. We ate everything all the time.
Yeah. And when we got back, because Tabasco I don't know if it's a Louisiana product or if they just sell Tabasco sauce there, but
I don't know.
There was a lot of it.
Tabasco waiting for us in our room.
Yeah.
Literally when we got there.
Yeah. But when I got back, guess who started just having mayonnaise with Tabasco remoulade on all the things when we got back?
Oh my goodness.
I did.
I don't remember that.
Wow. I was like, oh, there's nothing like a delicious remoulade.
I'm acting super shocked. I used to just put straight mayonnaise on Swiss cheese and eat it.
Yeah. At least I made it classy by having Tabasco.
Yeah, exactly.
So we want to hold on to that feeling, whether it's through our beverages or food choices. We just want to live on island time.
That's right.
Or Tabasco mayonnaise time.
Live on Tabasco time.
I
like it.
Okay. So we wish we could just get it back together. And then maybe the hardest part about it is thinking okay, you know what I need to do is something super drastic when I get back. I'm going to get into a super big deficit. I'm going to fast for a few days. I'm going to do some crazy program. I'm going to join a get thin quick 10-day starter thing. And then I'll go back to real habits.
Yeah.
But to start, I'll go on some extreme program.
Yeah, juice cleanse, fasting, what's that hot pepper drink thing that people do?
Yeah, master cleanse.
Oh, that's terrible.
That didn't go well. But it has Tabasco.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you can keep that Tabasco feeling going.
So you might be saying to yourself, Donald and Catherine, I enjoyed my journ-venture. Now what?
Yeah.
Now what do I do? So I would like to, if you're still sitting in your airplane seat, I would like you to put back into the full upright position.
Yeah, put your tray tables away.
Yeah, tray tables away, but then pull out that emergency card. The cool one where you're seeing people just jump out of cross their hands over their chests. And
I like the inflatable slide.
Oh, never seen it myself.
No.
But
not in person, but the diagram shows that it looks cool.
It's super cool. I was very invested.
I never want to be on a plane that has to use it. Let me be clear, but sliding down one of those inflatable slides seems like it might be fun.
That would be fun. So we're going to suggest. What do you do? We're going to tell you right now. Build in. We're getting right into it too. Yeah. Aside from me mentioning that we're getting right into it.
From the 15-minute preamble.
Okay, so something that Gretchen Rubin suggests, and again, this might fall into the must be nice category, is she actually, when she goes on vacation, she shortens it by one day or adds an additional day at the end so that she has a recovery day. So if usually she would take a vacation from a Saturday all the way through the next week to a Sunday, she actually plans to come back on Saturday instead. So she has that Sunday to kind of recover and reset so she doesn't have to go right back to work.
Yeah, I always want to do this, and then I almost never do because I just want to maximize my time wherever.
I don't want to be home.
Wherever I was.
That's not a vacation.
Yeah. But what I would love to do is maximize the time and then add a day at home.
Exactly. But if you can, add a little bit of recovery time. And that might be, again, if you can't take vacation time off, that might come in the form of setting some policies around the time that you get back, maybe the next week or so. Maybe you're the kind of person who thinks you need to dive back into all the volunteering and medical appointments and the kids stuff and the viola lessons for little Tabitha, who's 5 years old and is going to be a prodigy.
If Tabitha misses one viola lesson.
But don't worry about that recovery week. Don't feel like you have to get everybody back in the groove and, back to normal. It's okay to take a break for an extra week, just so that you've got extra time to do things like do laundry and unpack and get groceries and mow the lawn.
Yeah, I love this idea. And I think the underlying point behind it is if you really struggle with getting back on your health and fitness plan, freeing up your other time, because I know I only have a certain amount of bandwidth, available to do all of the things in life. And if it's all being taken up by volunteering and Tabitha's viola lessons, then it's very hard to also focus on exercise and eating right.
Yeah. Well, and something else you can do, which I've actually started to do, is make sure that you have a few days of clean clothes upon return so that you don't have to do laundry.
That's a great idea.
Socks, underwear, just the essential things where you have them set aside. I actually you're much better at having a number of socks available to you. Yeah. And I appreciate that about you.
Well, thank you. It's one of the qualities that people admire most about me is having a lot of socks.
But our daughter ran out of socks last weekend because she didn't do laundry. And so she was wearing these giant woolen ski socks over her jeans.
Yeah.
And it was 90 degrees out.
Yeah. Hey, buddy, I noticed that. I thought it was just a teen style thing.
It's hey kid, what you doing? You out of laundry? And she said yes. So I gave her some of my socks, but I actually don't tell everyone in the whole world except our daughter who's not listening.
Yeah.
I actually just bought a 6-pack of socks for her.
Wow.
And I might keep a few in my drawer.
That's a good idea.
So that she doesn't know that they're there, because sometimes she puts off laundry until the end and then she wears giant ski socks.
Yeah.
So.
This is not a socks podcast.
No.
but I just
socks talk.
a while back I just bought 24 pairs of socks or something that were all identical, so I don't have to worry about matching them. And
that's how he lost 100 pounds.
Over 3 weeks of socks, and now I'm down 100 pounds and have kept it off
by cutting out soda and adding socks.
Adding socks. I have to launder socks about once every 3 weeks.
And he does it.
Yeah.
Hats off to you.
Thank you.
So that's enough of socks talk. So.
Socks Talk. Our new side podcast, Socks Talk. Yeah, okay. I think it'll be huge.
Yeah, and you can do Sauce Talk because you like condiments.
I love sauces. Most foods are an excuse to put sauce on them.
Our daughter doesn't concerned. She doesn't have enough clean socks, and she doesn't like sauces on her food. So she's very complicated. Yeah, crossover episode.
I know. I feel like we've failed as parents.
Okay, now we'll get on. Well, we've also failed as podcasters because nobody wants to listen anymore.
All right.
Okay, so this is something that we talked about on the Snacks on a Plane episode as well, is before you leave, deciding on a few easy, quick meals that you can have, whether it's frozen pizza or breakfast sandwiches. Have some staples in the house that are easy and also that don't taste like sadness. You've been eating delicious, unsad food for a week, let's say, maybe 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Coming home I had a lean cuisine pizza a couple of weeks ago. I need therapy about it because it did not taste good to me.
Yeah.
But then Stouffer's pizza, delicious, and just 120 more calories.
Well, and look, this is not exactly the focus of this, but I recommend this for all the time.
Yeah.
Don't try and eat foods, try and find, reasonably calorie conscious foods that you actually like and enjoy. Because if you dislike everything you're eating, you're eventually going to go off the deep end and start eating all of the delicious food all the time. So I try and work I eat things that I actually like all day long. I don't suffer through things that I don't like.
Right, because sometimes if you do that too, then you just want something good afterward.
Yeah.
And then it's more calories. So just go for the good stuff first. So, and then part of that too, we already talked about, was plan a delivery pickup actually when you're on the way home, or have groceries delivered so that they get to your place upon your return, so that you've got some staples in the house that are easy go to, instead of getting high calorie fun takeout.
Yeah, setting up a future grocery delivery for the day you get back is, or perhaps the next day, is one of the most effective ways, I think, to get right back on a plan, because you're probably tired. You don't want to go straight to the grocery store, or perhaps even before you leave, you put, you've got frozen foods or shelf stable things that are fine and available and ready for you when you get back. But those two steps are huge in getting right back on a health and fitness plan, actually having the food available to eat. Because if you don't have it, then you can't eat it.
Well, and fast food or takeout is not bad, but think about it in terms of your health goals, and know that you can get an option that might not be the ideal low calorie, but is something that is high fiber, high protein, something that's delicious, but also has some nutritional value, unlike maybe the, breakfast, lunch, and dinner funnel cakes you've been eating for, a savory funnel cake.
Yeah. Oh my God. A breakfast funnel cake.
Yeah.
But
they
it's got hash browns in it.
Savory crepe. No, don't. It's fine. Just slather the Nutella, please.
Yeah.
I'm not a rube.
No. There's one thing you're not, is a rube.
Exactly. Okay, so now, dear listener, you're back at home. You're back at home. You got the groceries in the house. What are you going to do with them? And this gets into sort of the practical side. We're going to have more mindset stuff later. Don't you worry. It's coming. But decide what key habits will point you in the right direction. And don't say a big deficit is what will get me in the right direction.
Yeah.
We think that aiming for around maintenance, aiming for just like a gradual reduction in calories after a high calorie week is much more effective than going from eating, 3 meals a day at the buffet and then going down to only eating 1 salad a day. Yeah,
gradually get back into your calorie goal rather than expecting yourself to go from vacation calories straight to, I was going to say 1,200. You shouldn't be only eating 1,200 anyway, but maybe go to maintenance calories instead of at a deficit immediately.
Yeah, and part of that delicious food plan, again, that we talked about, having things that you really like, is being sure to pump up the volume. Pump up the volume of delicious foods by adding in vegetables, pickled onions.
Oh, yeah.
There's so many things you can, salsas.
Well, for me, big one is mushrooms and onions.
Yeah.
And you can buy these jars of roasted red peppers, which are, ridiculously low calorie. And I put them on top of lots of things to pump up the volume.
Packed with flavor and volume.
Pickles are another good thing if you like those to pump up the volume.
So again, stick to foods that taste good but don't make you feel sad, and go back to some normal policies. Even if you're not in a place you're like, it's too much, I can't track, I can't really think about it, you can still go back to those policies of, I only eat when I'm sitting down. I do not eat directly out of bags.
Yeah.
I don't eat off my kid's plate. I close the kitchen at 8:00. There's so many different ways that you can corral yourself back into healthier habits that don't even include, measuring and weighing your food. Normal policies of I'm not, going for my third salad at 8:00 at night. I'm going for cookies. So kitchen is closed. And Bob is your uncle.
Robert is your mother's brother.
Exactly. And then finally, and this is a big one, lean into support. Don't hide from yourself, your community of healthy people.
Yeah.
I know I said, cancel the meetings, cancel the kids' events, cancel the volunteering, but having maybe a yoga class that you'll go back to, that's maybe you could stay for 20 minutes if you wanted to. Just get back into habits that make you feel good. Make sure to go to your Weight Watchers meeting. Make sure to check in with your accountability group. May it be WOLT place, We Only Look Thin place,
yeah.
accountability group, or a friend that, hey, you know what, I really need to get back into walking. Why don't we go and walk our dogs?
And accountability buddy. Or maybe you even before you leave, you talk to a good friend who's on the health and fitness page with you, and you make a deal with that person that they are going to they're going to go on walks with you or do something to help keep you accountable, like when you get back, and they'll still be on normal time.
Yeah.
And can sort of help steer you in the right direction.
Yeah. And don't maybe go out for dinner to share all of your vacation slides, pictures with people.
Yeah.
Maybe tell your friend, hey, friend, you're my friend. Why don't we go to the farmer's market together, friend?
Is this how you talk to your friends?
Hello, my friend.
You might have more of them if you didn't say, hey, friend, you're my friend.
Hello, my only friend.
Yeah, exactly.
But go to the farmer's market, get some vegetables. Maybe chop some vegetables.
Some vegetables.
Yes,
okay. All right. We're saying vegetables. And a couple of things that I think people really don't think about enough, and I don't think I realized were such keys to achieving health and fitness goals, are to really try and prioritize sleep when you get back. And don't, I know you want to keep that vacation mode going, but rather than staying up extra late, watching Seinfeld reruns or whatever, actually, go to bed at a reasonable hour and get up at a reasonable hour and really get that sleep.
That's a good point.
And then, I know that I make much better decisions when I am well rested and clear. Another thing to maybe do, and this could go either way. Something that works for me is that even when I feel like it's going to be bad news, I get on the scale, because seeing the number from the vacation will oftentimes, sort of wake me up and be like, okay, I have to face reality and I really need to get back on this. Now, conversely, if getting on the scale and seeing the number is going to, shatter your confidence and make you feel shame, then maybe avoid the scale for a little while until you've gotten back into your healthy habits and perhaps, see some positive change on the scale. So but, for me, I like to get on the scale because it kind of sobers me up, but maybe avoiding the scale would be the way to go for you.
Exactly. Well, and something Donald mentioned before we started recording was, again, thinking about all of this or everything that happens as a pause. Pause the relationship with the scale if you need to. Pause your habits, but then remember that you can go back to them. There is not that on and off switch.
And then another thing to do is to try and distance yourself from unhelpful foods and alcohol.
Yeah, that's a big one.
And I know for me, if I've been on a vacation, I'm probably drinking alcohol a lot more than I usually do. And if I try and keep that alcohol train going, it leads me to make bad decisions about calories. And, it is just sort of this chicken and egg thing. When I start drinking, then I start making bad decisions about calories. And so making a conscious decision to step back from that. And, I'm not talking about actual alcohol problem. That's a whole different thing. But just realizing that perhaps you should take a break from alcohol for a bit until you get yourself back on track.
Well, and I think too that vacation mode, remember when we had this cocktail when we were, on the cruise ship or whatever,
right.
Now we're still sort of on vacation. Again, for me, my policy is I only have cocktails on the weekends, only after 5 p.m. And it really helps me retain my good habits during the day and doesn't just throw me off track. So that's a really good one.
Yeah.
So I'm going to steal something else from Donald, right under his nose.
It's not stealing if I give it to you.
Right. That's better. Okay,
Yeah.
so something Donald gave me that I'm now going to give you.
A hard time.
Yes. Did you know that vacations are going to happen in your life?
Yeah.
In your very lifetime. Whether they're big vacations or little vacations, or people come to your house and upset your normal flow, or you have a staycation, wherever it's happening, we are going to have points in our lives where we pause our normal habits.
Yeah, setbacks are normal, and they are part of this whole process. And really trying to let go of the notion of before and after, that there was like a before you and an after you, and that, okay, well, there was vacation me, and I didn't stick to all of the policies and plans and habits that I wanted to do on my vacation. So I guess it's over.
Yeah.
And I guess I'm just going to give up on all the progress I've made before and throw my hands up and do nothing, and letting go of that notion. And really letting go of, beating yourself up about that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like really try and show yourself some kindness and grace through all of this, because, we all struggled at different times, and it happens to everybody. And it doesn't mean there's something wrong with you. It doesn't mean that you're broken, but you can get back on track, and you can start making decisions that make you proud of yourself.
Exactly. And it's so difficult. And I have gone through this before, where I've gone on vacation with the best intention and then come back and just literally actually felt out of control, and like food had taken back over. But what I have noticed, and what, weight maintenance is about, is correcting that and readjusting as soon as you can, instead of, well, I'll start again in the fall, or when the kids are back to school, or in the new year. Instead of waiting all those months, we correct in a much shorter period of time, and reducing the intensity and the frequency and the duration of being on vacation from your plan really does matter.
And do the thing that we talk about, that's from Tiny Habits, Atomic Habits, that we say when you're trying to start any new habit, which is focus on the positive changes that you can get yourself to do right now. When you come back from a vacation, think about what can you get yourself to do. If you feel like you just can't become your ideal self, and we've said earlier in this podcast, you probably shouldn't try immediately. What can you get yourself to do? And do that, celebrate it, feel the victory, and that's going to make you want to do more and more and get back on the track that you want to be on.
Exactly, because all of this comes down to creating a healthy and sustainable lifestyle for ourselves. Everyone, the tall and the small, go on vacation from their habits, go out to dinner, go to a friend's house. There's so many different places to go.
Yeah.
And getting back on track is part of our identity now. We have a few different things coming up this summer, a wedding, a family trip, a solo trip, a few different things, different habits for different vacations. But in the end, even though we've got the days off track, we have so many days, more than half of the summer, where we can be in control of our choices. And I know that if we can do it and we can take responsibility for our choices, I know that you can too.
And before we finish, I wanted to read a quote from James Clear to follow up on what Catherine was saying about focusing on the identity that you want to cultivate, because I really think that ultimately is the much larger umbrella idea, like trying to become a healthy, fit person. Like, I don't have to think about it as much as I used to, as like vacation me and normal me. Like, I'm just a healthy, fit person who does the kinds of things that healthy, fit people do. And I think that this James Clear quote really sums it up nicely. He says, "I am cultivating a healthy lifestyle, prioritizing daily movement, rest, boundaries, and eating foods that make me feel my best. I know that every next choice is an opportunity to honor the person I want to be."
I like it.
And trying to live your life to that quote has really been one of the keys for me to continuing to do this, not thinking of this as a diet or a temporary fix or a slog. Like, I am a healthy fit person who does the kinds of things that healthy fit people do. And that has made this whole thing much, much easier to accomplish.
Exactly. So remember, do not hide. Do not decide to start next month or next season. Don't struggle alone in this. Remember that there are accountability groups like WOLT Place, We Only Look Thin Place, your Weight Watcher meeting, friends who you can rely on instead of hiding for a month in shame and going, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm still struggling.
Yeah.
We all struggle. And the more that we can talk about it and be open about it, the less shame we have about it. And where there is no shame, there is possibility for positive change instead of just feeling guilty. And then, it's kind of this weird, like, don't push yourself too hard. But also, come on, push yourself a little bit.
Push yourself a little bit. Yeah, you can't do zero work.
Exactly. And then the last note that I have for myself, because I do make notes, this might seem like it's off the cuff, but it's not. My last note is vacations are fun.
What? They are.
Exclamation point.
Oh,
I didn't put an LOL.
Goodness. I'm looking at her notes. She really wrote down.
It just says vacations are fun
with an exclamation point.
Exclamation.
Yeah.
And we are here to help make this fun for you. And Donald, I'm pretty sure we achieved that.
I'm pretty sure we did too.
Everybody.
And there's nothing more fun than listening to this podcast.
You did it.
Thank you so much for listening. And just like I enjoy looking forward to vacations, you can look forward to the next episode of this show. But if you can't wait, you can go back and listen to all of our episodes. We're on all of the major podcast platforms. They are all still available all the way back to episode number 1 all those years ago. And you can also find them anytime, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. 365 days a year.
And
I don't
next
know.
year
Sorry,
it'll be 366 days.
Leap year next year. You can find them on our website, weonlylookthin.com.
And if you are at weonlylookthin.com, you can click on that link for Join Our Support Group to find out more about WOLT Place. We Only Look Thin Place is our Facebook-based accountability group for women. We are not a weight loss plan. We have people doing lots of different plans on their own, but we are a place for accountability, Zoom meetings, check-ins, and just honest feedback and conversations about the successes and struggles in our weight loss journey ventures. We have people who have lots to lose and are maintaining. So the whole spectrum is covered. Please join us there. We have 2 subscription options, a monthly subscription with a 3-day complimentary trial and a 3-month subscription with a 7-day complimentary trial to see if WOLT Place is right for you.
Please check it out. And you can also interact with us on social media. We are at We Only Look Thin on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Or you could send us an email. If you feel like sitting down, typing a few words, you can send that to weonlylookthin@gmail.com. We appreciate compliments, we appreciate episode suggestions, and we will answer your questions. We have taken a lot of episode suggestions from emails and questions from emails and turned them into episodes of the show. So if there's something that you feel like we haven't done a deep dive on, we might even just be able to point you to the episode where we already did do the deep dive on it. But send us an email. Once again, that's weonlylookthin@gmail.com.
Yep. And if you have an extra couple of minutes and can head on over to Apple Podcasts, please leave us a rating and a review. Not only does it let us know that what we're doing is making a difference in your life, but it also helps boost our listing when people are searching for inspirational podcasts like ours.
It sure does. Or if you want to help us out in another way, just tell somebody about the show. Word of mouth really helps the show grow. We are grateful anytime somebody gives us a shout out, recommends us to somebody else. If you know somebody who might get something out of the show, or if you're online, if you're in a Facebook group, a Reddit group, a Discord server, give us a shout out. It really helps the show grow.
It sure does. So if you're still thinking that Donald was maybe being a little bit judgy about the Birkenstock comment, just remember that Donald and I are an inspiration.
The information that you hear on this podcast is for informational purposes only. The hosts are not medical professionals. You should always consult with your doctor, nurse, or other certified health professional before beginning any diet or fitness program.